how the new man, gets us and going. So yeah, overall 2 games of Fimple, good results. Like I said, should be a victory Monday. We feel like it's a victory Monday, minus that bad call, but 4 points for these 2 games after the Geraerts thing. I think we couldn't have been. Oh, we would have gotten better if it did 6 points. I feel pretty good about the 4 points. What about you?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's what I said at the top of the podcast. I think, and I could be wrong about this, but I think that's a better 2-game stretch than Geraerts had all season before he got fired. In terms of the consistent back-to-back, I think we won the first game and then lost a number of them in a row. You know what I mean? So, Anyway, 4 points was close to 6. I don't think it would have been undeserved if it had ended up being 6. So I mean, look, it sounds like he had impressed a little bit, in his station at the U23s. Doesn't have a coaching license, which I didn't realize initially, but he was never an option at the moment to be doing the post permanently. He doesn't meet the requirements, but he was allowed to obviously take over, that caretaker manager role. Good experience from him in sort of that. I'm not saying there's no pressure. I mean, anytime you get the opportunity to take the reins at a club like that, there's pressure. There's eyes on you. But knowing that the permanent position wasn't going to be offered with him, opportunity for him to kind of be in that environment without that ultimate pressure. I think the players felt that. It certainly seemed like it. I thought we were a little bit looser and just more attractive in general under him. So I liked what we saw, and I'm obviously interested to see what the new man brings in. But I think anytime you're kind of like, hey man, we're kind of cooking a little bit under the, it's kind of funny and probably a positive for him.
Yeah, and it's an interesting comment that you just made there because the team felt like a little bit looser there. Maybe there was a friction between. Well, there was obviously a friction between Geraerts and Manga. One of the comments Fimple made at the last press conference is that he's like, hey, when Ben Manga calls, Ben Manga asks me to do something, I want to do it. I'm not going to question it. And like, you didn't get that much from Geraerts. Geraerts is like, this is my team, not your team. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, I think the team did feel galvanized. I feel like Karaman's performances did dip in the last couple of weeks, maybe because there was that tension there, and he's caught in the middle as a captain. Yeah, I think Fimple, what we saw in Fimple, what we didn't see in the Geraerts, I think, was 2 weeks in a row, the same center back pairing, Bullet and Kalash, both weeks in center backwards. We didn't have that at all with Geraerts in the whatever previous weeks. So you got that going right there, and the same midfield pairing too with Schallenberg and Gruger. So hey, consistency does matter in these kind of situations. So I have a question for you with Fimple, Jakob Fimple. He's only been here 2 weeks. Obviously, he's with the U23, so he has been with the team for a while, but he's only managed the team for 2 weeks. What do you make of the impact and the reaction you had, not only from the Schalke team, players, but also the fans, where like he's here for 2 weeks and everyone's like, oh man, thank you so much. You've been great to us. The praises for him in such a little amount of time. What do you make of all that?
I think it means we're a cheap date collectively as a Schalke fan base, probably more than anything. But no, but like that, it's what I said a minute ago. It's that he came in with a lot of positive energy. You saw him, smiling and being pretty emotive in a positive sense on the sidelines. Trying to, model that positive energy. It's very easy for Schalke fans to spiral and be very doom and gloom. And obviously the way the season was going under Geraerts, it was easy to feel that way. Yeah. Comes in, stops the bleeding, 4 points from 6, as we said. The team is playing more attractive football. They're playing a little bit looser. You feel that. Of course people are going to, be thankful for his brief stint. I think it's a great experience for him. I think we now know that if they continue to support him in his progression in his coaching career and help him achieve a license, then, if he doesn't end up leaving to go actually be a manager somewhere else, then we'll potentially have him in our back pocket to promote later down the road when he has the necessary credentials if we need him. Overall, I thought it was a great little stint. I'm obviously excited to see what Wunderman does when he comes in, but positives all around.
Last thing I'll say on Fimple is that we heard a lot about his rah-rah speeches, prior to him joining the team, and you saw it firsthand, and it obviously worked. He's passionate, and they asked him, I think in the last press conference, are those like, do you wing those, or how do those come about? He's like, no, I have a theme that I'm going in with every speech that I'm saying, and then my passion takes over, and so that's pretty cool here. And I was very impressed by him, not only as a manager, but his press conference was very coy, very astute, was understood when the reporters were trying to bait him into an answer, and he just never fell for it. I love seeing that. If I'm Schalke, if I'm the hierarchy, sign this guy to a long-term deal, get him his licenses as soon as possible. And if there is ever need to get a coach, go after him, because I think he could be somebody you could build off on. Obviously, he needs some more time, so U23 to even build it further, but get him that license, lock him up, and then, like you said, he'll be in the back pocket should you ever need it. But he is out, back to the U23s, not out of the team, but back to U23s.